concern about Prime Minister Boris Johnson's planned trip now to Brussels to go and speak to the EU as these negotiations reach their climax. Concern that the precedent has been when UK Prime Ministers go to Brussels, they are ambushed. And coincidentally, a report this week in the Times really showing how the UK has already been ambushed by the EU in these negotiations. It happened last week. I'm going to bring you all the very latest in this report, guys. But please start off by hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss future reports. Now, Nigel Farage responding to news today that the British government has reached an agreement in principle with the EU to drop clauses in the UK internal market bill has led to Nigel Farage saying when Michael Gove says there is a pragmatic agreement on Northern Ireland and the EU are happy, then you know we are being walked all over. But Nigel said something else interesting yesterday. After news broke that Boris Johnson's heading to Brussels, Nigel said Thatcher, Major, Blair, Cameron and May were ambushed by going to EU meetings. We lost every time. Boris doesn't stand a chance. And who can forget, time and time again, Prime Minister Theresa May looking increasingly desperate as she went over to Brussels, and every single time she lost. Prime Minister Boris Johnson yesterday evening announcing that he'd spoke to Ursula von der Leyen, the EU Commission President, saying we'd asked our chief negotiators and their teams to prepare an overview of the remaining differences to be discussed in a physical meeting in Brussels in the coming days. Of course, the fears will be that we're about to see another ambush. And when you discover, as I'm about to lay out in a minute, the ambush that we had from the EU in these negotiations last week, you'll understand why concerns over another EU ambush with Boris in Brussels is highly likely. But in the joint statement from the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen, they said, as agreed on Saturday, we took stock today of the ongoing negotiations. We agree that the conditions for finalising an agreement are not there due to the remaining differences on three critical issues: level playing field, governance, fisheries. It's been these time and time again, hasn't it? And they said they asked our chief negotiators and their teams to prepare an overview of the remaining differences to be discussed in a physical meeting in Brussels in the coming days. But this is the story that really should sound alarm bells in terms of Boris going over to Brussels and speaking to the EU. This is this Times piece. How an ambush brewed in Brussels derailed Brexit talks. And you'll remember last week there was even speculation, I did a report on here, there was speculation that a deal was set to be done around Wednesday, Thursday time. And instead what we see, as laid out in this report, is Michel Barnier returns to the table, put back weeks of work. The announcement of a last-ditch emergency Brexit summit, the Times report, between Boris Johnson and Ursula von der Leyen has its roots in a breakdown of trust between the British and European negotiating teams who less than a week ago had seen a deal within their grasp. As recently as Thursday morning, the UK side was hopeful that any summit would only be necessary to formally sign off on an agreement between the two teams. However, in what was meant to be a routine session assessing the latest stage of the Brexit negotiations in the meeting room, the British side were, as they saw it, ambushed. And this is really important. In Michel Barnier's folder was a completely new document that set out an EU proposal to break the deadlock in one of the most contentious areas of the negotiations, the level playing field. Yet as Lord Frost and the UK team read the draft proposal, they realised it was nothing of the sort. Instead, it was a repackage of a plan they thought they had seen off weeks ago. It would bind the UK to EU rules and regulations in perpetuity on pain of lightning tariffs, and that could be imposed on British exports unilaterally if they digress from EU environmental, subsidy and workers' rights regimes. One British official quoted by the Times as saying Barnier presented it as a new idea, but it was quite clear that it wasn't. They were going back on things. This is really important. They were going back on things which they'd agreed to over the last few days. The mood turned very quickly. The Times report the ambush had been brewing in Brussels for a fortnight, exposing a serious rift between the EU power players France and Germany, and a British source saying, "We went from a position on Thursday morning where we thought we could see our way through to a deal by the weekend to one where it looked almost impossible to see how we'd ever get a deal. Lord Frost went to Boris Johnson in person in Downing Street on the new EU position, and he made it clear that it would not sign up to new terms. A decision was made to suspend the talks." That is the background to what happened last week. The danger now, of course, is that Boris Johnson, having had this agreement in principle with the EU, now goes to Brussels, and we could see another ambush with the UK Prime Minister there. With a UK Prime Minister who wants to be seen to get a deal done, with the European Union ready for another ambush, as British negotiators experienced last week. This is the danger. And this is why we need Boris and we need the government to hold firm and to remember that Brexiteers want a clean break from the EU, not a level playing field, not a ridiculous status quo on fisheries, not a betrayal, not a sellout. This is the defining moment. Now, I ask supporters, and thanks a lot, supporters on this channel, hit the join button if you do want to become a supporter. See the top link in the pinned comment if you want to become a supporter. I'd really appreciate it. I asked members of this channel what they make of Boris heading to Brussels. We had Ian, thanks a lot for your support in, saying trips by British PMs to Brussels have never ended well and always resulted in the UK being shafted. Heath, Blair, Major, Cameron and May, now Boris joins the list. The PM's ability to U-turn, he says, at a drop of a hat many times this year, and his never-ending list of rolling Brexit deadlines does not bode well for a sellout, dressed as a huge win for the UK, of course. Mark said that he agreed with that 100%. Thanks a lot for your support as well, Mark. And Andrew saying that Boris seems to have lost his bottle. Louise saying he's embarrassing his country. He's gone from saying he'll walk away in October to going over there grovelling when they click their fingers. He's completely dishonouring the Brexit vote and selling us out. You know, this is the danger. I hope the government are listening to this. This is what Brexiteers are very, very fearful of here. A sellout. John saying, I can't see much point. His counterparts are really Merkel and Macron. So if he goes anywhere, it should be Berlin to Paris. This would be also be a waste of time. I can only assume that he is trying to show that he made every effort, but before finally walking away, I certainly hope so. And Paul finally saying, coming soon to the big screen, Brexit, the never-ending story. Well, Paul, look, the people that have watched this channel will know, I thought that the 15th of October deadline was crystal clear from Boris, and obviously we're way, way beyond that now. The government is saying they're not going to extend the transition period. So it seems now this should be the defining moment as Boris heads to Brussels. But as I say, the UK side feeling ambushed last week in the negotiations. Will we see the same happen in Brussels when Boris heads there? High possibility that will happen. Will Boris walk away? Will there be a sellout deal? One thing's for sure, guys, you can rely on me, you can rely on this channel to keep bringing you all the very latest. So please make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the bell. Give this video a big thumbs up. Would really appreciate that. And as I said, if you want to become a supporter, if you want to get the supporters badge next to your name, I'd be doing lots more supporter readouts. Do hit the join button to support my work. And of course, guys, as ever, thank you so much for watching.